Welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast. This is author and athlete Brad Kearns discovering ways to be healthy, fit, and happy in hectic, high-stress modern life. So let's slow down and take a deep breath, take a cold plunge, and expertly balance that competitive intensity with an appreciation of the journey. That's the theme of the show. Here we go. The Get Over Yourself podcast is brought to you by Almost Heaven, beautiful compact home use sauna kits, ancestral supplements, grass-fed organ meats in a capsule, DNA Fit, genetic testing for custom diet and exercise recommendations, Integro Health, high-potency liquid probiotic called Flourish, Organifi, organic powdered superfoods, delicious green, gold, and red powders, Wild Idea Buffalo, sustainable, grass-fed, beyond organic, and check out the bradkearns.com/shop page. That's my personal selection of favorite products for health, fitness, and peak performance. And here we go with the show. Wow, what is 2020 going to be all about? It's about winning the Super Bowl for the Dream Team. Oh my goodness, that would be so fun and so interesting to spend a day on your own personal retreat down at the library. Imagine that, just sorting through your plans and your ambitions and your vacation opportunities. Wow. The mind loves metrics, says Simmons, especially public metrics. This is why social media platforms can so effectively train us to maximize our followers' likes and comments. When these vanity metrics increase, I love that. What's your vanity metric this month? Similar to how the prioritization is a learned skill, so too is saying no. It feels great to say no. Not really. I mean, sometimes it does, but again, this might have a little bit of pain and suffering involved and changing your mindset, changing your established behavior patterns, but practice saying no. I want to enthusiastically recommend DNA Fit, cutting-edge genetic testing to deliver a personal profile that will guide your fitness and nutrition goals. So simple, you spit in a tube, mail it off, and soon you get by email this super cool infographic where it delivers all these important insights and elements of your genetic profile at a glance. How you metabolize carbs, caffeine, vitamin D, lactose, and much more. My exercise profile was mind-blowing because it revealed my genetic muscular makeup to be 54% power strength and only 46% endurance. As a lifelong endurance athlete, I've been banging my head against the wall, training in a manner that was in conflict with my genes. Don't wait 20 years making mistakes like I did. Find out what diet and exercise patterns are most aligned with your genetics at DNAfit.com. This stuff used to be super expensive. It was a few $100s. Now it's pennies. Not really, but it's a great deal, and you get 30% off if you just put in the code GOY30. Check out everything at DNAfit.com. Okay, Breather Show, backing up the previous one about the inspiration, behavior patterns, mindset of investor king Warren Buffett. And now we're going to do a 13-step process to apply these insights to your own life, inspired by a great article on themedium.com by Michael Simmons. Link will be in the show notes. So in the previous show, you had some great exposure to his focus, prioritization skills, minimalist, simple, straightforward lifestyle. And now we can get into it with some practical tips. Starting with 1 and 2, determine your true values and your true goals. When you prioritize without having clear values, your goals often end up feeling empty. Sounds familiar. Yeah, goal, focus. Do I care that much? Not really, even though I achieved the goal. So, this is a lot of quoting, but I'll be interspersing in and out. Without your own North Star, the goals you set are often the result of the values of the culture you have been previously in. Therefore, your goals aren't really your own goals. Ahem. A lot of people influenced by, of course, parents, well-meaning parents, peer influences, the culture, the consumerism, and the value of material success over everything else. So let's choose out of that and find out your own true values and true goals. Without setting clear goals, your daily priorities become overwhelmed with urgent tasks that have a short-term payoff that make you feel good. Having clear values-based goals keeps you focused on what matters most, short-term and long-term. Can you think of any good examples here? I can. Your email inbox. Oh, doesn't it feel great to clear your inbox and get back to everybody and clear your voicemail and make all those calls back and do all those 7 errands of returning this garment to the clothing store and going and buying another lock. I lost my lock. I have to go buy a lock today. Ugh, hate that. But this efficiency stuff can easily get away from you. Remember Stephen R. Covey, 7 Habits of Successful People? He was talking about effectiveness versus efficiency. So efficiency is ordering the order of your errands so that it's in a geographical, linear, stop here first, stop there next. But if that took 20 minutes to write down all the steps, or you're so efficient with every little thing, like returning the $7 item that didn't work, and all of a sudden an hour of time has gotten away from you, some of this stuff doesn't add up. It gets away from you. Time gets away from you. I had a great interview with Gretchen Rubin, best-selling author, on this podcast channel a little while back. Search for it online. And she talked about the concept of procrasticlearing, right? Clearing up, decluttering, and making things so orderly and so efficient that you kind of forget your highest priority tasks of the day, or you lose the time to do them. So determine your true values, your true goals. Third, set aside time for prioritization. Making blocks in your calendar, recommended by Simmons. 15 minutes a day, an hour a week, 3 hours a quarter, and an entire day every year. Ooh, that's interesting. Imagine that, taking like your own personal retreat once a year and spending the whole day on your priorities. Wow, what is 2020 going to be all about? It's about winning the Super Bowl for the dream team. Oh my goodness, that would be so fun and so interesting to spend a day on your own personal retreat down at the library. Imagine that, just sorting through your plans and your ambitions and your vacation opportunities. Wow. How about 15 minutes a day? Do you think that would be a useful application of your time? I really like that. I would probably reference that I spend 3 or 4 or 5 minutes a day. Definitely not enough, but I am trying to reference that to-do list that I keep in digital form on the Notes app from iPhone and MacBook, so it transfers back and forth between my portable device and my desktop device, my home base. Also, Evernote is a fantastic program used by tens of millions of people. And what's cool about that is it's just a notes program where you can make folders and put notes in there. You can do multimedia. You can save like pictures and audio, but mostly I'm just making an assortment of text notes. And these also update to mobile device. And the great thing about Evernote is you can type into their search bar. It's just like Google for your own life. You type in any term or anything. Like if I type in Buffett, I will come up with every single note where that word is mentioned in the note and quickly find all kinds of stuff from the owner's manual to the spa, all the way to the hiking trails that I wrote down on another scrap paper of note. Everything's organized in Evernote. I think it's free. Sure, you can do it with a pad of paper. I did that for many, many years, but I love the digital aspect of keeping things clean and the thought of losing some detailed notes and plans and things you spent a lot of time on just because you misplaced the spiral notebook. That would be tough. So my recommendation, go digital and then have at your fingertips on your mobile device anytime. You just punch into Siri or the talking voice of the other platforms that you might use, and then it'll fold right in. And so I have to clean up a mess basically every day where I'm taking these one-off notes and integrating them into my priority list. Great stuff. So back to the Warren Buffett list, inspired by Warren Buffett, written by Michael Simmons, going down from your true values, your true goals, your time for prioritization, daily, weekly, quarterly, and yearly, and then make a list of everything that you have to do. Getting it out of your head and onto paper is cathartic, and it gives you fodder for the rest of the steps. There's a great book called Getting Things Done that the author of the article recommends, David Allen's Getting Things Done. Next, circle the top 20% of priorities that will give you 80% of the results. Man, you hear this all the time. Do you think it's really true? Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe we get bogged down in that 80% category when we could really let a lot of things slip through the cracks and just focus on the top 20% of priorities. I don't think I'm very good at that. Maybe I should try it for a week and then do another podcast about that. Yeah, I don't call people back. Don't answer these text messages. Don't answer these emails. Just go for that top 20%. Love it. Or some way, shape, or form of that. Getting more focused, I think we would all benefit from. I remember back in the day when I was working in corporate setting and the emails would come flying through these group CCs where there was 5 people on there. And back and forth all day, the badminton birdie would get batted back and forth over the net. And if you were out of the loop for some reason, out of the office, away from your desk, you'd sit down at the end of the day and realize that the entire thread had been resolved without you needing to participate in these intermediate steps. Okay, so top 20% of priorities that give 80% of the results. Next, practice the 80-20 rule like you would any other skill. Prioritization is a skill, says Simmons. By learning and then using different mental models, such as the bottleneck analysis, the ICE method, or the critical path approach, wonder what those things are, you get different ways of seeing your priorities. Every time you see your priorities as an opportunity to practice becoming better at prioritization. Ooh, that's cool. I get what he's saying there. This is just repetition and endurance, as they say, building a better habit. So I've talked a lot about my morning stretching routine and cold plunge exposure. Didn't do it today, I have to admit. Very, very rare. I had to get my dogs out before it was really, really hot, so I skipped my cold plunge. That means I'm going to have to go back and do it later. Anyway, by identifying those priorities and having them at the forefront of your mind every single day, and then developing the discipline to make them the priority by executing them, then your awareness is heightened all the time and you don't slip and slide away from what your stated priorities are, but you don't take action on. Love that. So that's the tip named practice the 80-20 rule like you would any other skill. Then identify the single most important priority. So if you were to narrow down a list of 25 priorities to 5 priorities, how about this aggressive misuse of the term priority? Anyway, you know what he's talking about. Then you can apply the 80-20 rule again to focus on the one priority that gives you 80% of the results from those top 5 priorities. Narrowing, focusing, getting to the top of the pyramid. He also learned this from a book called The One Thing. So another plug. Do your one thing first. Oh, I got this also from another perspective from my friend Andre Obradovic, who's been on the podcast before. Wonderful life coach, peak performance coach, and athletic coach from Australia. Has some great insights. No Muppets being the very best insight he's ever come up with in his life. Taking that to the bank and running with it. But that's what he said too, is like, do your priority first. And his assignment to me, our little coaching assignment, was that I would get on it, do my, let's say, 2 hours of focused work on the book before I opened up email or got distracted. I would do that as the very first thing of the day, after my cold plunge, of course, and my stretching. But then I would do it and then email him at the end of that time period that I had committed to, saying, I effing did it, mate. And then go on with my day and allow myself to get distracted. Check out this YouTube video. Oh, look at my inbox. It's blowing up. But at least I pulled those 2 hours out of the hat and kept that commitment. And it could be 20 minutes, could be 4 hours, whatever it is for you, to do that one thing first. When our day starts, quoting about the one thing first, we have the most energy and the least distractions. This makes it the perfect time to tackle the hardest, most important activity. If you leave your one thing for later in the day, it probably won't get done that day. I learned about managing my days based on my energy levels in a book called The Power of Full Engagement. Next, we're getting close to 13. I think this might be number 8. Collect and measure metrics primarily on your one thing. Ooh, very cool. Did you do it or not? I'm thinking of that voice of Dr. Dre in my head. Where's the email? Did you effing do it or not? And if I have to write an explanation of 2 sentences, oh yeah, our internet was down this morning and. No, collect and measure metrics primarily on your one thing. The mind loves metrics, says Simmons, especially public metrics. This is why social media platforms can so effectively train us to maximize our followers' likes and comments. When these vanity metrics increase, I love that. What's your vanity metric this month? Oh, I gained 50 followers on my social media. When these vanity metrics increase, we feel like we're making progress and doing important work. But at the end of the day, if you run a business, what matters more is tracking profit first. If you run a non-profit, what matters more is improving the world. If you're trying to reduce loneliness, what matters more is how many high-quality interactions you've had with close friends. The author of the article's business changed overnight when he took the time to identify the few metrics that really mattered and then focused religiously on them. Oh man, I love this. This is such a great reminder for myself to get that metric part in. On the last show, I talked about how I've always been good at pursuing my passions and doing work that mattered and following my heart and my destiny. And I became an athlete, which was such a great surprise and a wonderful journey, and did it for a little bit too long because I wasn't really focused on my priorities, weighing the instant gratification of doing something that was supposedly my passion with my future plan and where everything was heading. And so sometimes we can just get stuck in the play mindset. Life is short. Why plan for the future mindset? And that would probably be righted or checked and balanced if you collected and measured metrics primarily on your one thing. So why are you in this job? Oh, it's to make a difference in my nonprofit. Oh, it's to make my quarterly sales quota. And if it's not working for you, even though you loved it and you had a great Christmas party and it's really fun to hang out with the gang at the office and you guys really laugh a lot when you take your breaks in the coffee room, hey, let me see your metrics. Yo, man. So real life circumstances and pressures. Same with college, remembering the times when that fall semester freshman year is oftentimes an opportunity for the lowest GPA of all because kids are away from home. They're going crazy. They're having fun. They're hitting the parties and they're getting used to a new life and they're not measuring the metrics primarily on the one thing. And the one thing being that they're there to go to school, get grades, pass their classes, accumulate those units because those units are so damn expensive now in today's college world. Their parents going to be checking up on them for sure. Okay. So measuring the metrics of the one thing. Down the list, looks like number 10. Put everything else on your avoid at all cost list. He references that Warren Buffett does this, and I read further into the article, and it turned out that this was sort of a urban legend that Warren Buffett made a list of the top 25 most important things to do for the year or whatever. And then as soon as he completed the list, he crossed out numbers 5 through 25 and only focused on the top 5. And it's a really wonderful anecdote to think about the act of doing that, like going through the challenge of writing your top 25 priorities and then crossing out 5 through 25. But it's probably an exaggeration. Warren Buffett answered a direct question at his Q&A at his shareholders meeting, and he says, "No, that's not true because I never even make lists." Whoa! But I like the idea from Michael Simmons to put an avoid at all cost list together, and these are the things that fritter away your time. Furthering the concept of this avoid at all cost list, realize that it takes a ton of energy and discipline not to do certain things on your avoid at all cost list. If you're not deliberate, you'll likely fall into old habits. To make sure this doesn't happen, strategize early on. Do a pre-mortem. What would life be like if you got into these old habits, got distracted? What would be the cause? Being aware of these potential distractions before they happen, we can dramatically increase the odds of avoiding them. Pretty cool, huh? Number 12 out of 13, practice saying no. Similar to how the prioritization is a learned skill, so too is saying no. It feels great to say no. Not really. I mean, sometimes it does, but again, this might have a little bit of pain and suffering involved, and changing your mindset, changing your established behavior patterns, but practice saying no. The skill is recognizing areas where we should say no, but don't, and then devising a solution for each situation that actually works. Finally, get both accountability and coaching. In my experience, says the author of the article, I often resist the things that are most important because they require me to confront my fears and self-sabotaging beliefs. Therefore, I always operate more effectively when I share my priorities with others every day and every week. And when a coach forces me to be brutally honest with myself and give expert feedback. Accountability helps me put my foot on the accelerator. Coaching helps me remove my other foot from the brake. Let's repeat that and see if we can get what he means. Accountability helps me put my foot on the accelerator. Coaching helps me remove the other foot from the brake. I like the idea of accountability partner. They use that term in workout vernacular, where you're trying to sign up for let's say a competitive event months from now. So you get a partner, a buddy, and you say, did you work out today? Okay, I did too. That kind of thing's cool. That could be a great role for a healthy partnership, to serve as each other's accountability partners, but then leave the coaching to an outside entity, perhaps an expert, right? Because if you're spending all day trying to coach your partner and challenge them and do all these things, that might be a little difficult to maintain the other wonderful parts of a love relationship. Same with your kids and other dynamics like that. I'm remembering the days of Hugh Sports, where I was a really hands-on participatory coach. I love coaching the little guys and instilling the right values and the higher ideals of Hugh Sports until they were about high school age. And then it was time to get serious, and it was more like a job with distinct goals and a highly competitive environment. So at that point, you turn it over to a real coach. And then in terms of accountability, you can check in and say, did you get good nutrition today? Did you get enough sleep? Do you have everything that you need to succeed? How can I help you as a parent, as an accountability partner, rather than trying to be all things? Hey, how about that for a little plug at the end? So, finishing words from author Michael Simmons on themedium.com. Each of these steps is absolutely critical. Miss one of them, and your ability to pick and follow through on the right priorities plummets. Ouch. So let's go hit the 13 really quick. Finish this thing off. Take a breath and carry on. Implement them into your life. Ready. Determine your true values. Determine your true goals. Set aside time for prioritization daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Make a list of everything you have to do. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Circle the top 20% of priorities that will give you 80% of the results. Practice the 80-20 rule like you would any other skill. Identify your single most important priority and do that thing first every day. And then write an email to your friend. I effing did it, mate. Next, collect and measure metrics primarily on that one thing. Next, put everything else on your avoid at all cost list. Okay, not everything else, but put a lot of stuff on that list, and then prepare for it. Envision what would happen if you were to become distracted by these avoid at all cost list items. Realize that it takes energy and discipline to stay away from stuff. Next, practice saying no, another learned skill, just like the 80-20 rule. And finally, get both accountability and coaching. Thanks for listening. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you for listening to the show. We would love your feedback at getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. And we would also love if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a hassle. You have to go to desktop iTunes, click on the tab that says ratings and reviews, and then click to rate the show anywhere from 5 to 5 stars. And it really helps spread the word so more people can find the show and get over themselves, because they need to. Thanks for doing it. Let's talk about probiotics from Integro Health. Do you want me to sing the messages? Nah. But probiotics are an extremely important concept. Hopefully you're all in on the values, the benefits of nourishing a healthy gut microbiome so you can flourish in life. And that's the name of Integro's product, Flourish, a unique, extremely potent, living liquid probiotic. Yes, it's liquid form. How is it different from other probiotics we usually see in pills? This is the message from Integro. Microbes continue to thrive and metabolize in their own milieu. Do you like when companies use the word milieu to describe their product? I do. These include short-chain fatty acids, bioactive peptides, amino acids, enzymes, and minerals. The liquid base makes it acid stable, so microbes can survive the stomach environment and transit to the lower GI tract for integration to give you a healthy gut microbiome. There's 11 different strains in this thing, carefully hand-cultivated in the laboratory with precision to deliver 8 billion total CFU. Why take probiotics? Come on, you have to ask. It's going to strengthen your immune function, reduce systemic inflammation, the root cause of all disease, improve digestion, promote bowel regularity, relieve gas and bloating, get you going again after illness or antibiotic use. That's me, because I first got this shipment the very day I returned home from a Mexican vacation and had a stomach illness once again. What a bummer. So sad, because I love going down south, but I needed to repair and return to action quickly. So I started guzzling this stuff and had a wonderful return to health. I'm a very enthusiastic user and will be over the long run because I need all the help I can get. I don't know about you. When we're talking about our routine usage of antibiotics, the stress we put on our system and in the environment every single day, I especially notice my gut health is compromised when I engage in overly intensive athletic training, have trouble recovering. My gut is the first thing to go. So this is my go-to product, the Flourish probiotic in liquid form. Try it yourself. I love the delicious root beer float flavor. Just kidding, man. This stuff is no funny business. This is the real deal. It's very potent. It tastes fine. It goes down okay, but no root beer float flavor. Sorry. Take it. You'll love it. Go look at integrohealth.com for more information and to order shipped directly to your door in its unique liquid form. Flourish!